Hello and welcome to the George Groves Boxing Club. I am George Groves and I am here as they are starting to de-rig the O2 Arena. Wilder has just beaten Derek Chisora on a split decision. Let me get into it. So my prediction was totally wrong. I thought Derek Chisora would be able to force the pace, would shoot with those heavy-handed shots that come round the sides and then climb up to the head, and Wilder, who's always leaning back, would take one. He would crumble, or he would fade, he would start getting tired and he would crumble. He might even land on Chisora when he thinks he's got him hurt and he hasn't. Empty the tank and then unfold, but he didn't. Wilder tonight was on point. He conserved his energy time and time again throughout the fight. He picked his shots and he hurt Chisora over and over and over again. Chisora, we know, is super tough, super brave, but way out of shape. You know, after we saw the weights at the weigh-in, both guys coming in heavy, but Chisora, I think it's a career heaviest. He looked out of shape. Usually, you know, he's never chiseled, but you can see quite a lot of muscle underneath, you know, the excess visceral fat. But tonight, it wasn't there, and he just really couldn't get going. I ended up scoring the first 3 rounds for Wilder. I thought he had the cleaner, better shots. I'm not sure how you guys would have scored it at home, but from ringside, and me being a power puncher, appreciating the power punches and the ones that have an effect, it looked like Wilder was landing cleaner and having a better effect on Chisora with those shots. Now, there was times where he would pull back and he would try and catch Chisora with a straight right hand. There were times where he was trying to pick it up through the middle. He even was bringing in a sort of a Wilder-esque big left hook. It would land, and a lot of the time it would land on the top of Chisora's head, where Chisora's coming in a bit lower, but they were having an effect. They were having an effect time and time again. The 4th round, I think, was when Chisora maybe turned the tide a little bit, had success in that 4th round, caught Wilder with a couple of big shots, definitely right hooks and left hooks, but without checking the replays, I'm not exactly sure what the shots were, but I scored Wilder the first 3 and I gave Chisora the 4th round. As we go through the fight, Chisora gets knocked out of the ring and you can see his corner pushing him back in the ring through the ropes. Now, I'm not sure if that's allowed. I was sitting right behind the British Boxing Board of Control. I'm not sure they saw it, and if they did, whether they maybe turned a blind eye or whatnot. They didn't want to be under that sort of scrutiny or pressure. Wilder's manager, Shelley Finkel, the veteran boxing manager, promoter, I think he's done a bit of everything. Shelley Finkel was up out of his seat. He was complaining after every round, complaining about the ref, complaining about Chisora, complaining about Chisora's corner, who ran in, I think this was in the 1st round, came sprinting over to separate them while they're backing each other in the back of their head, where one goes through, it's like, oh, I'm going to give you one back, I'm going to give you one back, I'm going to give you one back. For all you novice pros, that's not a bad idea sometimes. If someone hits you with an illegal shot, you hit them with one straight away back that's even more deliberate. Brings the attention to the referee, and it certainly puts the emphasis back on the guy who committed the foul in the first place to make sure they don't do it again. In that round where Chisora gets knocked down, Wilder has a point taken off, and for me, watching it at the time, that felt harsh. It was for pushing, and it didn't like it was worthy of a point being taken off. He wasn't warned beforehand. You know, just as he's starting to get momentum, just as he's hurt and buzzed his guy in front of him, he's dropped him. He's been pushed back in the ring by his corner, and then boom, he has a point taken off. So he still wins the round. He probably got that 9-8, but it wasn't the 10-8 round that you would want. And that might have been frustrating for him. He might have thought, is it really going to happen for me tonight, or is it just not my night? He gets dropped later on in the fight. Chisora gets dropped again, and then Wilder gets dropped. But even then, the Wilder droppage doesn't look as legit as, you know, it looks more like a slip to me. I haven't seen the instant replay. I was in the arena, I was trying to look up at the screens, they didn't show it. Which again, if you're a boxing man like me and a bit paranoid, then you might wonder, what was that all about? But in the end, we had a split decision. It went in favour of Wilder, and for me, the right man won tonight. I had him winning the fight pretty comfortably, to be honest. I probably had it close to the first judges' scorecards, then the last 2. You know, he lost maybe a couple of rounds and a point taken off, a point for the knockdown, but other than that, he was in real good shape. What next for both guys? So for Wilder, after this win, selling out the O2 Arena, big news. Is he believing that he can go further, that he can stick with it, that he can push on, that he can challenge an Usyk, or can he fight a Joshua who's sitting ringside here? I think if you're Anthony Joshua, not obviously, we don't know exactly what shape he's in, but it's been a little while since he's boxed, but going off his last performance to this performance from Wilder, you've got to make Joshua a favourite, but who knows? If there's big fights to be made and there's a big opportunity for Wilder, he's certainly going to take it. Almost certain that Anthony Joshua is going to fight Tyson Fury next, maybe in Ireland. It's been maybe announced. I'm not sure if that's totally true or totally confirmed. But if it's Wilder, he's going to come back in the picture, and whether he fights the winner of Wardley and Dubois, or whether he fights Gassayev, who's he's got to be the WBA regular, one of the belts he's got. So he might be in with a world title shot this year, which is incredible because he felt like he was dead and buried, down and out, not that long ago. So credit to him. And I was really impressed with the way he boxed tonight. He showed maturity, he showed experience, he showed composure. He did get caught quite a few times, but he never looked like he was in any sort of trouble. He get his head out of range, and then when they came together, he got his head in a safe position. It was usually tucked around behind Chisora's head, if you will. And he would take the odd shot because Chisora's good at that, fighting on the inside. But when he could, he would catch with the left hand, catch the right hooks that came to the body, something come around to the head. He boxed a mature fight tonight. He varied that right hand, as I say, it came up through the middle, it came straight. At times he would target the top of Chisora's head because that was where it was having a great effect. And essentially what Wilder didn't do is blow a gasket. He knew Chisora's tough. He always looks tired, and you see if he actually is. That's all right. That's all right. You're in the video. Just a little bit, yeah. So, where have I lost myself? So Chisora can come and come and come. There's a joke that he looks tired at the first round. He just doesn't get any more tired. He just keeps going at that pace and at that speed. So Wilder, mature performance from him. Great performance, great atmosphere. Congratulations, MF Pro. Really solid effort here tonight. There's some great performances on the undercard. Denzel Bentley performed out of his skin, boxed brilliantly. Matty Harris has really gone through the levels in the heavyweight division. I think he looked great tonight. And then Vidal Riley, a shutout performance against Mastanek. There was times where he looked like he could have even stopped him. It didn't happen for him, but Vidal Riley, skillful boxer, he's happy to win on points and become European champion. So great night for the MF Pros. Great night of boxing. It's great to have another major promotional outfit here in the UK. And not necessarily to rival any of the others, just so that we, the boxing fans, can enjoy memorable nights like we had tonight here at the O2. I'm tuning out for now. Probably waffled on a bit too long. So make sure you tune in, subscribe, share, do all that jazz and malarkey. And I'll see you soon next week for a build-up to Tyson Fury in his big fight with Mahmoud and with Conor Benn. Conor Benn's back against Regis Prograis, who's apparently injured, but been paid a fortune to not be injured. Am I allowed to say that?